initial statement says, and what has been said by the speakers here this morning. I'm happy because we represent a rising, a reawakened, and a reinvigorated civil society, a people that have come to the conclusion that what we have seen and experienced and lived through over the last 30 years is not what our people need or what our people deserve.
It's important that the budget must give a direction, a signal in terms of how we intend to grow the economy, because even before you can talk about foreign investment, your own approach in terms of the structure of the budget, promoting expenditure, addressing the challenges of infrastructure, social expenditure in the main, and also investing in the economy is what is central to the economic growth. You are not going to deal with the challenges of unemployment, poverty and inequality, and also to ensure that you grow the economy unless you promote expenditure, you hire more nurses and teachers in the departments where you need to do that, so that you have got more people who are going to be part of the working force of the Republic, as a consequence of which you generate more resources that are required by the state to deal with a number of imperatives we're confronted with.
Done. Our fear more is about what cost containment will there be there, and we're worried that Treasury might revert back to brutal austerity budget cuts, given that the VAT is now off the table, which is a good thing. But I think also concerning for us even more is about the economic growth projections. That has impact upon revenue projections as well. The instability in the world economy around tariffs from the United States could have a real impact upon South Africa's economy. That could mean less revenue for the state, and which could impact upon the budget. So we hope Treasury gets the right balance. We hope they don't revert to the old budget cuts, because we really need to fix the state and grow the economy.
Do with what the structure of our budget is. You've got to look at many factors, including how the global economy is performing, because South Africa is not isolated from the rest of the world. So the impact of what is happening in the European economy, the Americans, and everywhere, including Eastern Asia, will have some kind of a negative or positive impact to what is happening to our own economy. What I think is very, very, very important for us, especially as the MPs of the ANC, is that once the budget has been appropriated, especially the one that deals with the infrastructure, addressing the problems relating to the water supply in the country, the energy and electricity, improving the conditions of our ports. It's important that...
We hope so. We've got confidence in SARS. We think under the current leadership, they've done a fantastic job. They've improved tax compliance from 61 to 64%. That's an additional 60 billion rand a year in revenue. They've hired additional 500 staff. They've invested in the institutional capacity. So I think for us, we're hopeful that we should give more support to SARS. There's about 800 billion rand in outstanding taxes due to the state. So before you introduce new taxes, we should improve tax compliance of existing taxes and simply give SARS a blank check, give them 20 billion rand and say, can you improve tax compliance in the next 2 years from 64 to 70%? That's an additional 120 billion rand. We need
our ports. It's important that we ensure that the ministers who are responsible for those departments spend that money and do so effectively and efficiently, so that we don't have a situation the following year where there are rollovers because departments were not able to spend the money that was allocated to them. Because the problem around economic growth, it also has to do with the capacity of the state itself to spend the resources that are allocated to various departments, more and above what then get injected by what we call the foreign and domestic business investment into the economy. So it's very, very important that that which is allocated to each department is effectively and efficiently spent as per the allocation the Minister of Finance would have made.
120 billion rand. We need to be aggressive around it, because it makes no sense to squeeze the nurse or the teacher to pay taxes, and then we leave people who are often very wealthy, often have large companies, fancy accountants, fancy lawyers and so on, who find ways to dodge the taxes. So we're hopeful that can be done, and we think that Parliament should really elevate tax collection to a priority. Call SARS in for monthly report backs. How far are they on illicit trade, on customs fraud, on income tax fraud, VAT fraud, etc.